Hi, I'm Petra Tlčimukova, and this is UHA Cafe. It's a podcast about social sciences and humanities. Every other week, we invite a specialist, offer unique insight into the academic sphere, their work and lives. If you listen to this podcast, you know we usually speak Czech here. However, today I decided to do something different. Today I will have a conversation with Professor Jesús Tovar from Universidad Autónoma del Estado de Mexico, who spends the winter semester at the Department of Political Science, Philosophical Faculty, University of Hradec Králové. This episode will be therefore held in English. Are you excited? I am excited. Professor, welcome and thank you for accepting my invitation.
Well, it's my honor to be here, not only in this podcast, also overall in the university in this semester, winter semester. Welcome with your question. I am here for you.
Thank you very much. Jesús, this is not the first time you came to the University of Hradec Králové as a visiting professor. The first time was in the winter semester 2014. Can you recall what was the original motivation for you to come here?
Yes, it was. I was here in Hradec Králové in Czech Republic 6 years ago. I don't believe so. It seems that it was very near. Well, it was a seminar that was organized right here about the quality of democracy in Latin America. It was a project that later it became a book, The Quality of Democracy in Latin America. Mm-hmm. We were here to present the preliminary results of this project, and we were many colleagues from the universities of Latin America. I remember Ecuador, Chile, Argentina, Mexico, and I think other colleagues from Europe also, Spain and Italy. Well, it was a very good and pleasing experience to be here 6 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. This time the circumstances here from hugely a current pandemic situation. It affects the way we work and also teach significantly. Did you have any previous experience with online teaching?
Well, a decade ago, 10 years ago, I had the opportunity to teach an online course. In that time, the technology was more rudimentary, since you couldn't see the other people's faces, nor hear them. The interaction was only in writing, so it was some strange to do so. The big problem that I observed on that occasion was the lack of participation of the students. Few of them participate. I have to ask them directly to give their opinion, his or her opinions. Well, the coldness that all it implies, it's very discouraging. I was not entirely happy with this experience that lasted for about 3 months. But well, this was 10 years ago. Now there is many differences. You can see the students, you can hear them directly, but also there still remains some distance and some calls in this relationship. But well, this is what we have now.
Yeah, we must cope, right? You teach a course, Comparative Politics in Latin America for MA students. You devote a considerable part of the course talking about plurality of democracies. How do you cope with the challenge of teaching democracy to the students of different culture backgrounds, Jesús?
Yes, it's very interesting to speak with students who are not from Latin America. Since comparative references can be found in the respective countries, as is the case of the democratization process that took place here with the Velvet Revolution, or other cases of democratization in Central Europe. Some concepts that we use in Latin America can also be applied in these cases, such as, for example, authoritarian bureaucratic autoritarism. It could be applied for the authoritarianism in the final decades of the last century, or also another concept is very used in Latin America, delegative democracy. We can apply this concept in real and nowadays democracy here in Central Europe. So it's very useful that work here and to move some concepts from Latin America to Europe. I hope my students can say the same.
So do you think the Czech students have a really different idea about what a democracy is than from the Mexican students?
The concept of democracy in general, it is applied for many realities. For example, you know, there is a dictatorship in North Korea, but they call themselves they are democracy.
Right.
So many people in the common people, they use democracy as they want, what they want to apply. So in science, we have to unify the concept and establish some objective requisites. So it is the same with some specific concepts. There is a concept, for example, as I told you, delegative democracy, that you can teach this concept, explain this concept, and they have to think the relevance of this concept applied to their own democracies here in Central Europe. I know more about Spain, Italy, France, but I am learning now about Czech Republic or Poland or Hungarian. Well, this is what is a extra value for me to learning what is happening here in political sense.
I'm happy to hear that. And that brings me to another question. Considering the restrictions applied to the social life, do you have any chance to communicate with your colleagues at the philosophical faculty here?
Not too much, not too much. The interaction with my colleagues has been mostly online. Basically through the platform that we are now, and I participate in research seminars, or obviously in my class with students, and only at the beginning of the pandemic I met personally some of my colleagues at the faculty. The same, I was able to meet directly with other colleagues, Professor Karel Kouba, Professor Pavlina Springarova, who I already knew previously, right, since they are experts in Latin America. I hope to return another time to be able to share more academic experience in person and also meet my colleagues directly.
We hope also. What's the overall evaluation of your stay? What do you say?
Well, the academic activities were very good. I like classes, seminars, meetings. I really appreciate this exchange. I also learned a lot from the Czech political situation, other countries around Czech Republic, and I had the opportunity to travel and go around in Prague on the weekends and in some cities around Hrade Králové. I remember well Kutná Hora, and there was no people in these days, so it's another strange situation. Despite the pandemic and the partial confinement, I liked being in this city and this country. I like it a lot.
I'm glad to hear that. How does your home institution cope with the situation?
Well, my university, Autonomous University, Mexico State, in English, reacted to the pandemic in the similar way the others, also the Hradec University, Hradec Kralove University. That is implementing virtual platforms for everyone, teachers, students. In this way, the corresponding academic cycle could continue until today. However, we have connectivity problems in Mexico. And of course, also in my region, Mexico State. Other problems that exist in Mexico refer to the economic situation of the students. Since many of them do not have the necessary resources to have a computer in good condition, or do not have internet at home. So you can see there are some difference between Mexican students and Czech students. I think here there are more facilities. It's easier to teach online, or to have interchange academic activities online.
So there are some serious restrictions to calling the switch to the virtual sphere in education a complete success, I understand.
Yes, it's just to say so, but it is.
Since the 2019, there is a possibility to participate in the Erasmus program for international credit mobility. We have students from your home institution coming to the philosophical faculty here, and the other way around as well. And we hope to increase the dynamics of the physical mobilities in the near future. However, considering the actual limits put to the physical mobilities, how do you see the virtual alternative in a long-term perspective, Jesus?
Well, the technological changes that were implemented due to the pandemic should not be lost. After the pandemic, we will have, I think, a combination, a mix of face-to-face and virtual academic activities. That seems interesting to me, that we can take advantage of the new opportunities that virtual education offers us. I am willing to continue holding online classes with students from other universities, other countries. And I have already got used to this type of remote academic activities at last, after some months. As the saying goes, we can draw good lessons from even the worst situations.
Right, so you consider offering virtual courses to the international students too?
Yes. Let's keep these advantages to be closer than before the pandemic, between universities, between colleagues, and between the relationship between professor and students. So I have. In fact, I have other classes with my university and other university in Mexico. So I am hyper connected to not only here with you, with University Hradec Kralove, with my country.
Right. A global scholar, I should say, right?
Yes, yeah. A global scholar.
Welcome back to UH Café. My today's guest is Jesús Tovar. Well, Jesus, you're, as you said previously, a well-traveled and globally well-oriented international experienced yourself. As a scholar, where do you see the main positives or even necessities of going abroad for a longer period?
Well, if we talk about my specialty, comparative politics, we usually say that a person does not really know his country if he only knows his country. So if you haven't traveled anywhere, so you won't really know what your own country is. To really know,
Comparison, right?
yes. So it's very necessary to compare. What is your country? You have to compare with other countries. To really know in a systematic way, it's necessary to have comparative references. In addition to this strictly academic comment, traveling to different countries and university has allowed me to have excellent colleagues, friends, whom we later invited to Mexico. These colleagues allow us to have their own knowledge, research, experience, which greatly enrich our Mexican scientific community, and myself, of course. Currently, academic activity has to be global, as we are saying right now, and internationally connected. The quality of teaching and research strongly depends on this link.
Right. You're trained in comparative political science yourself.
Yes.
Your main focus is the process of democratization, especially in the Latin American context, and electoral processes. What is the main trouble with the election in Mexico, would you say?
Well, right now, the elections in Mexico do not represent a problem themselves, the elections, as if they were last century, because 20 years ago, more than 20 years ago, these elections were not really competitive. I learned that it was similar here in Czech Republic before the Velvet Revolution. There were elections, but they are not competitive. Anyone could know who will win. So the result is not
Right.
is well known before the elections. However, some electoral problems still remain. For example, what we call in Spanish clientelismo. In English, it says it's not the same, but it's patronage. That is buying votes, which brings about other difficulties that diminish the democratic quality of the countries, that continue to maintain these illegitimate and illegal practices. But every political parties practice this patronage, these buying votes. So the result is a little more legitimate than when there is no democracy at all. So there we have new problems new issues in electoral context, not only in Mexico, also in Latin America.
Oh, yeah, we could talk about that, right? Perhaps next time. One of your papers focuses on Mexican immigrants to the United States, a topic which gained a lot of negative attention during the presidential period of Donald Trump. Can you comment on that?
Yes, actually, my last papers refer to Mexican immigrants in the United States who vote in Mexican elections. We continue to see the same problems of clientelism. The leader of the migrant communities, for example, in New York, in Los Angeles, in Texas, exchange votes of their associates, of their communities, for certain resources that politicians offer for their towns where they come from. It's not it's the same situation of clientelism as I talked before, but not an exchange vote for money with you directly, with the people, with your relatives in Mexican towns. But well, in direct response to your question,
Are
I
you
can,
talking about, sorry, were you talking about remittances, about money sent
yes,
back to the
no,
family?
no, not remittances. I am talking about some political leaders travel to United States and meet with the immigrants. Immigrants in United States, Mexican immigrants, are associated in some communities, in some organizations. So they have meetings, and these politicians offer some resources, some works for their towns where these immigrants come from. And so they ask votes for this interchange. This is what we call clientelism, when some politicians offer a resource to exchange for votes. So this is the situations that we found in our research that I have published in Japan. It was published in Japan.
Right.
Well, but about the problem that you have asked, I can observe, I can see similarities in the discourses on migrations process in both regions, in United States and also in Europe. No?
So you can
Migrants,
trace, I'm sorry, you can trace some similarities in the discourse on immigration in
yes,
the US and the EU since the 2015 immigration
yes.
wave. Yeah.
And here also in Europe, no? Immigrants have been used by politicians as an explanation for the problems of the respective countries in electoral times. No? Here in Europe, they are referring especially to African immigrants. No? This reflects a xenophobic and populist discourse. No? All of these causes in real life a deepening of discrimination against immigrants, and it increased their insecurity, their everyday insecurity, problems with health, for example, in this pandemic. So this discourse produce victims of racist attacks. Well, it's not different what Donald Trump said in United States that other politicians in Europe, especially, for example, in Hungary or in Poland. Well, we have the similar problems with this sort of xenophobic discourses in many countries.
Right. Anyways, what is a bit different, what is special about the Mexican scene is the so-called, the situation with the so-called drug wars, where more than dozens and dozens of people are victims of this drug war that is taking place. Could you perhaps comment a bit on that?
Yes, the common people, you, me, everyone, the society, we are very influenced by the politician discourses. What the state said about the situation. So some people, for example, employ workers or any other people who felt that the economic situation is not good. They hear the politician discourses and they think that the guilty of their problem is not their everyday situation, is an extra region situation. I mean the immigrants. So it produces some of these attacks, this discrimination that we can see in some European countries. Well, this is what I think that politician discourses is very harm for the not only immigrants, also for the humanity.
All right. Jesus, you're also executive committee member of International Political Science Association. You're an executive committee member of Latin American of Political Science Association, executive secretary and national board member of Mexican Political Science Association. Can you describe, I mean, that's a lot of positions. Can you describe in a general manner the content of your work?
Well, currently I am only the president, not the secretary executive. It was my last situation, but I am only the president of Mexican Political Science. Yes, I was elected 2 years ago. I am not anymore a member of these executive committees, IPSA, International Association, and ALASIP, Latin American Association. No? I participate in these executive committees.
Anyways, you have that experience, so can you share that with us?
Yes. Well, but as a leader of the Mexican academic community of political scientists, I am in charge to foster, to promote scientific events, such as the one that's having taking place these days, the 8th International Congress of Political Science. We used to have annual congresses every year, and also I also try to promote scientific publications in the AMESIP journal. We have an AMESIP journal of political science. Also, we promote to publish books written by my colleagues. We hold many academic events in Mexico, such as AMESIP, many of which have the participation of colleagues from other countries, not only Mexicans, including Czech Republic colleagues. Some of my colleagues here were in Mexico sometime in the past. In international associations that you mentioned as ALASIP, Latin American Political Science Association, or IPSA, international, the big one association, the activities are very similar to those I have mentioned as AMESIP, but on a larger scale. They have Congress, very big congresses. They have these congresses, for example, they have been postponed for the next year, and I think maybe they have to be online events. Well, we don't know exactly what will happen in 2021, no? Exactly. But these big associations have similar activities as we do on AMESIP works in Mexico.
Jesús, you're also an author of the book Dinámica de las Organizaciones Sociales and a co-author of the book Elecciones, Participación Política y Calidad de la Democracia en América Latina. I hope my pronunciation is bearable. You have published journal articles and book chapters about elections and democracy in Latin America. What can we look forward next?
Well, I am surprised you mentioned my first book, Dynamics of Social Organization. Right. It was published, let me remember, 97. 1995, more than a quarter century ago, more than 25 years ago. My last book, it was 2018, is about the quality of democracy in Latin America. As I told you in the last questions, It was the result of a big research about how is democracy in 15 countries in Latin America. I am currently working a paper about the political crisis in Peru. And I am also beginning to work in political theory, not only the empirical situation, as I mentioned, the crisis in Peru. So I am working about a theory which has a long history, that is republicanism. Republicanism as a political theory, as a political model, has more than 25 centuries. So it's a very old concept, a very old, and we have thinkers, for example, Aristotle, Cicero, and we have also thinkers or political scientists who were republicanisms in this century. But it is a very old theory, so it takes a lot of work to read a lot of books, papers about this theory, republicanism. This is my new topic. I am working since 2 years ago.
Right. Okay, so we're looking forward to see what's next out.
I hope so also.
We are coming to the end of our interview, Jesús, and also to the end of the year 2020. I'd like to talk about Mexican traditions a little. Christianity is extremely important for the majority of Mexican people. And on the 12th December, a great celebration of Virgin of Guadalupe, Nuestra Señora de Guadalupe, takes place. It marks the start of the Christmas period in Mexico, lasting until the 6th of January. Can you tell us?
Yes.
Can you tell us what do you look forward to do the most on the Christmas Eve, the Noche Buena?
Yeah. Please, first I will tell you that there is a period. It is not only Christmas period, also vacation period, that mostly start at December 12th, Guadalupe, Virgen de Guadalupe. But this period ends at January 6th. It is the Reyes, the kings, the Reyes, who visited Jesus. So this period is called Guadalupe Reyes. Guadalupe Reyes. So when you visit Mexico, they will tell you about Guadalupe Reyes. It seems to be some girl, some lady. Reyes, is a surname, a surname. So Guadalupe Reyes, it not refers as some woman, it refers a long period between December 12th to January 6th. Well, this is a long vacation period.
And a well-deserved one, I bet.
Yes. And some folk situations in Mexican tradition is what we call in Spanish, I don't know how to call in English, it's called posadas. What is posadas? For example, when I visit you, but not without any planification. So I visit you, and we carry food, beers, and you open your house,
my mouth,
and your mouth and your house, and we make a party in your house, this is called posadas, but it's not. We don't remain in your house. We visit other houses in the same night, in the same location. So we visit one house to another house to another house to another house. Well, in these posadas, you know that you will be visited. You don't know whom or at what time, but you have prepared some dishes and foods in your home. No? So you are, you said, oh, it's a surprise, but you have all prepared in your home. It is a very nice tradition, and it's called posadas. It used to be in the days around Christmas Eve, 24, 25, 26. And there are some songs that everyone knows.
Exactly, yes, that was my last question. Is there a Christmas song, poem, or prayer you could share with us that's making a special wish for all of us, please?
Yes. Well, I am not a good singer or something like that, but there are very long songs, and I don't remember the letter of the song. I am not Catholic. I am not Catholic. My family is Catholic, but there are long songs, and everyone sing the song. No? But I don't sing the song because I don't know the letter of the song. I only hear they're very different songs, and I am surprised that everyone know the letter of the songs, but me, but me.
Oh, so is there perhaps a little prayer that you could share?
No, I don't. As I tell you, I am not a Catholic.
Or a Christmas poem? Okay, never mind, never mind. So
Sorry.
perhaps you could just no, that's completely all right. Perhaps you could share some Christmas wish that you have with us, or send a message to our students and colleagues for Christmas time and perhaps for the new year.
Yes, yes, I can do so. I can do so. Well, Christmas not only represents a Catholic and a Christian tradition, it is also a holiday for many religions. This is this December 24, 25, 26 are sacred, are holy days in many countries. So this represents to confirm that we are the same family, we are equal, and we wish to become better, not for us, for oneself, for the others, for the others. So I can wish you that in spite of pandemics, we can treat each other in not only in a peaceful way, also in a lovely way.
Oh, that's beautiful. I also wish to everyone that we are kind to each other, and that the rest of this year is just a peaceful time for all of us. Jesus, thank you very much for our interview, for talking to me and sharing your knowledge and visions with us. And I wish you all the best in the next endeavors of yours. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I am very pleased to be in this interview.
Thank you.